guess we can start with like, Sari actually asked us a question. What is the funniest experience you've had with anxiety? So that it's not so serious.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I need to think.
You asked the question and then...
Ask
but that's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's interesting question because you like make it. Because I do feel like what she said, right? Actually, one of the things she said was that she never felt anxious. Right. So then it got me thinking, like, is anxiety just like, I guess, is it a natural phenomenon? Because a lot of people experience it. So is it like a natural phenomenon that we make ourselves experience, or is it like an inherent quality? Do some people just feel and they're more prone to feel anxiety, or yeah?
I have the I don't have the answer.
You have
I have
anxiety
my own
now.
thoughts.
What do I say?
Put me on the spot. This creates some anxiety.
I have a story.
Okay.
But
so
it might
that's
not
the
be.
story.
It might sound a bit gross than funny. Do you want me to say?
Should
Yes.
we define what is funny?
Yeah, I don't think
No
it's that
judgment,
funny. It's
it's
quite
okay.
gross. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please. No choice.
I think I was a very anxious kid growing up. So then, like every time when we have exams in school, I will always get tummy ache before exams. And I remember this experience that I want to share was, I think P4, I was going on a camp. Like you stay away from home for 1 week, and it's my first time on a school camp without my parents, first time out without parents, right? I think I was quite anxious, and then when I stepped into, it was this like outward bound kind of, I can't remember, it was called
OBS
but it was not it was at Marine, it was at East Coast Park area. Then I stepped into the compound and I saw all the high elements, right? Oh my god, we're gonna do this. And then I had a tummy ache. And that compound is new. I remember we were the first batch of students in, they just built it.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the toilet and the flush didn't work.
Oh.
So I went to use the toilet. It's a new toilet and the flush didn't work.
Oh my god.
And then I had to come out and tell people that I pooped and and the flush didn't work. Yeah, I can't remember what happened, but I think I had to
Layered
clean it
anxiety.
out.
But at least you forgot about the high element lah.
Maybe I released my anxiety, so then I could do the high element. Yeah. When I did the high element, it was my first time. The coach asked me, "Hey, is it your first time?" I said, "Yeah, my first time." He said, "Hey, you're quite good." I'm like, "No, I'm not quite. I'm very
What
scared."
happened before that?
Maybe because I pooped, I could do it better. Because if I didn't, I would feel very jittery. I'm not sure.
More of the story poop before you.
But yeah, it's not so funny. I just felt like it was a weird incident.
experience.
And then it was
Like
yeah.
9 years old.
Yes. Thankfully, I was a kid. I mean, now I don't. It will be worse.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I was a kid.
But how did you know it was anxiety?
I think I didn't have the words for it then, but now thinking back, I thought there was anxiety, and also because I have a trend of having tummy aches whenever I was anxious or whenever before exam, so I knew my pattern of behaviors quite well.
At 9? Wow, that's...
Yeah, no, I didn't know that there was anxiety, but every time I had exams, I would get tummy ache. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because actually when I think I'm also just naturally very anxious. Everything new, everything like just... The first thing I notice is anxiety. But actually I didn't know what I had was anxiety until I was maybe 23. When I had anxiety attacks. And even when I was having the attacks, I didn't know actually what it was. Like I took a trip to Italy, and then I think the first time I was I was just having panic after panic attack, and I didn't even know what it is. And then I was like completely lah, I really didn't know. And then after the whole trip, I went to see, because I was in the UK, so they have like free counsellor. So I went to see the counsellor. After that I read online. Then after a while, somehow I heard of this word anxiety. Then I was like, okay, at least now I know what it is. And then I was like, okay, so now there's actually a meaning to what I'm feeling, and other people also feel it. Then I could like, okay, what is this? And then like break it down. But it was so weird. The fact that, like you said, there's actually had no idea what it was. And it's like, it's scary because you feel like you know what happiness is, what sadness is, but this one was so different what I was feeling, because it was not fear, like it was not in my vocabulary lah.
I think it can be so different for everybody, right? For me, it's not physical symptoms. For me, it's the funny thing. The funny thing is, I remember, I don't know how old I was. I can't remember a lot of memories. I can't remember. So I was sitting in, like, I was just standing one place, and I had a million things to do, which is quite normal for me. So I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. But everything is due. So I was literally in the center. I was like thinking, okay, no, I have to do that. I do 5 minutes of this. Then I like, no, I have to do this. Then I do 5 minutes of this. And then I realized nothing is being done. Then I was just like, what is happening? Like the exact same spot, but nothing is being done, you know, as opposed to if I just focus on one thing. So then I realized, maybe this is also part of like anxiety. I don't know, but it might be. So it was quite funny if you actually look at the experience.
Yeah, I could visualize you having like 3 years just turning your
but no
like
progress.
a cartoon character.
I think I felt that way. I was like, what the hell is this?
So for you, how does anxiety come about? Like, because we are both, I think, like for me, uncertainty is not good. Like, I get anxious over uncertainty, but she a bit, I guess, better when she's like you know. So I will have like, that's why I need to be organized. I need to know everything. So that's the way I manage to control lah, which is actually not really the best way to do it for me lah. But like for her, it's more. Well, how does it come up for you? Or do you think it's...
I think procrastination. Or like I think it's just a million things in my mind. And then I cannot focus on one thing. I don't know if that's anxiety, but I think it sounds like...
That's your triggers to anxiety, is it?
Yeah. But I guess if you tell me a physical sensation of anxiety, I think of it as, I guess, fear of the future, or we don't know what's happening right in the future. So I don't know whether I have the capability to think so far, but I think like on the spot I'll be like, I have so many things to do, I don't think I can do it. So maybe that's the fear of not being able to do it. Doesn't have to be a fear of an outcome, right? So maybe that's it lah. So I think the fear just like creates all this, like, I'm sure there's a physical sensation, right? If you can't focus, your body's probably a bit more restless. But it's quite funny. So now if I see people like stand one spot, don't know what to do, I know like, you know, something is not right. So I think it's quite funny for me. So now if I see people like stand one spot, don't know what to do, I know like, you know, something is not right. So I think it's quite funny for me, I think.
So something like not being able to be present lah.
Possibly.
When you keep thinking about the future and you're not present in the current moment.
Maybe.
And your triggers are uncertainty, new environment,
Change, which is like all of life lah. Anxiety.
Maybe mine is no change, I get anxiety.
True, when you procrastinate and there's no change.
No change,
right?
Anxiety.
Interesting, see now. And no change also got anxiety. Change also got anxiety.
Exactly.
What about yours then?
Your one? Yeah.
I think more similar to Vash. Like when it's something new that I've not tried. But I think mine across the years now it feels like, because now at this age then you've tried many things, right? Like solo travels and stuff you've tried, so then it's not so anxiety provoking. But I feel like now it's like living up to perceived expectations. Sometimes I feel like, especially with new people, I think with familiar people I think I'm quite okay, but like new people, then I have this worry about, will they like my work, you know, or like will this be up to their standards? Then that can bring me a bit of anxiety. But I think also becoming older helps, then you regulate and it's not unmanageable. I think it's more manageable now. I acknowledge anxiety will always be a part of my life. Just that I can manage it better.
I think now I need to name my anxiety. like the last month or so, my anxiety was like off. Like usually I feel regulated lah, but the last month because I changed my job and everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was like completely unregulated. And it was so funny because I was at a point in my time I had like I'm the most peaceful place, right? I'm in Thailand watching the waves and everything. And I'm like, wow, this quietness
It's making
A trigger.
it's a huge contrast
it's so
to your
good.
inner state.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, then I'm like, okay, maybe I should name my anxiety since she keeps coming, right? So maybe I just give her a name lah, right? So I'm like, okay, she needs to come out now and then she needs to do whatever. But I think it's like managing lah, like you said, because when I was younger, I think it was a bit harder because I didn't know what it is and you need to try different techniques. I feel like what works for me may not work for somebody else. And even what worked for me over the last years, even that month actually didn't work. Then I was like, this is very interesting because I couldn't, like, my methods were no longer really as stable lah. Then I realized, okay, maybe I need to change a bit lah.
Very hard to be anxious, right?
Yeah.
I think if you are engrossed in what we are doing, then it's hard to think about other things. Like maybe when I'm running, I'm just like busy breathing and I don't have time for my anxiety. Yeah, but I guess it's right. Anxiety can be either you are too focused on the future or still stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Like you keep thinking, oh, I used to be able to do this, will I be able to do it again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not being present.
So then how to be present?
That's
$1 million question.
That's $1 million question.
Be present. I have this I must say that it says be present, this bracelet.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
My friends from school,
Oh.
this was my birthday present last year. Then they just asked me for like quotes. I didn't know they were giving me a bracelet, so they just asked me what are your favourite quotes. Then I give them such long quotes because I'm very long-winded. Then they said, oh, in the end cannot fit into this. So they chose 3 things: practice, be present. So actually 2 things lah. Be present is one, and then practice and all is coming is the other one that they heard me say before, and then they put it into the bracelet. So I wear it because I think it's every time I see it's a reminder that like, oh, it's to be present. So I need some physical reminders.
Yeah, that's interesting. You?
I'm still thinking. Obviously I'm not express. Obviously I'm not present all the time. There is no thought to it. Then I feel like
Absolute calmness.
then I feel like I don't know whether I'm blanking out or I'm present.
You're truly present.
or No, I think because I do practice, right? Like I do some yoga practices and stuff like that. And then I also try to meditate before I sleep. So it's like my reminders when I do my practices lah. Because if I'm not, then during my practice I'll know that my mind is going all over the place. So then it will be like a reminder, like to come back. So like the first thing in the morning when I do that, it reminds me for the rest of the day. And then I'll do practice before I sleep. So then it reminds me before I sleep. So I think for me it's like doing, it's a reminder.
But what if people cannot do? So I think a lot of the question that I ask is, I cannot sit still. I cannot. That's not my thing. So if that's the case, then how else you think people can?
I think it doesn't have to be a practice. This is my own, but Marlene, you can say. I think like even people doing things mindfully, like some people cannot sit down, but if you're just mindfully cooking, that's also being present, right? Like you're not thinking about anything but the cooking. Or if you're mindfully doing like housework, you know, like doing mindless things like gardening or things like that, it's very hard. Like if you're anything that you're fully engrossed in, I think that itself can be present. It doesn't have to be a practice. It's just that mine is a practice now. Yeah. So I think so. I think everybody has that passion, that something that they like, that they will do. Like I'm sure like for you it's like, I mean for me it's like sometimes playing the piano. So if you think of something, your song would just sound like you're thinking of something. Whatever you're thinking will be there.
But that's distracting for people around as well. She's like, I'm going to play a piano now. I'm like,
But I'm playing it with passion. You don't understand. It's not coming out. The sound is not passionate. So unfortunately, sometimes some things affect the people around you. You have to find the right time, the right place.
So that you can do it without being present, without affecting you.
Exactly. Yeah. So find something that you're really like, you feel like you can do it, that you like it so much that you don't think about something. Everybody has something like that.
Is it distraction?
Marlene, want to answer the question?
I feel like as you were talking, I got reminded of this word. I can't remember who's the author of it, but there's this word in psychology, positive side, called flow. So like when you're in the flow of things, then you are less anxious lah. So I guess it feels like being in the flow is being present. Yeah. Whether it's a distraction, I think it goes back to the intent.
So the first thing I noticed when she comes out, right, is my phone. I can be on my phone all day, every day. Before I sleep, I need to see my phone. When I wake up, I need to see my phone non-stop. It's I need to talk to somebody, I need to share, I need to like basically distraction lah. Right? So it's mindless versus mindful lah. Right?
Yeah. I think it's also like when you go back to intent, it's like in that moment, do you realize that is it like you think about, okay, I'm anxious now and I want to use the phone, or is it unconscious? Right? I think then if it's unconscious, it feels like a distraction. I just want to like get rid of it. But if it's conscious, it feels like if it's the same thing, you use the phone, but it feels like, okay, I know I'm anxious right now and I just need like 5 minutes to cool down and I'll just use the phone. Then you are not just doom scrolling, you are using it with intention. That's how I differentiate, but I don't know what do you all think. Is there a difference between distraction and like mindful
Scrolling. Mine's called doom. Maybe doom scrolling versus scrolling. Doom
Yeah. Actually, it depends. Like you see what page you go to. Are you just going to the feed and just letting it flow? Then you cannot control what comes up, right? But sometimes when I'm sad, I don't know. And when I'm anxious, I rarely use the phone. But when I'm sad, I might go into like poets that I like, and then I'll go and read those. Yeah, then I feel like it's a bit more intentional.
Interesting. You see the Instagram posts all the
all the sad stories, sad poems, then I read those.
This is me right now. But you know what's the scary thing? The phone will know you're sad and will give you more sad things.
Whether it makes you more sad.
Then if the group doom scrolling makes you spiral, then I'm like,
then more scrolling.
Then you don't even change the algorithm really. When you're happy, it's still like
this is AI. The technology is controlling your mood now.
just take the phone away lah. No, just too much lah.
Yeah, maybe that's it lah. Maybe it's that compulsion. When we are not in control, it's a distraction. When you're in control, I guess it's intention. Then it's not a distraction. It's like you're doing it like what you said lah, consciously. It's compulsion lah. So I guess it's like you realize that I cannot control it. Even if I don't want, I'm suddenly taking my phone and I'm like, I'm just scrolling. And you know, when people take it out, the anger that you see in people's face, oh my god, I do that to my brother. Just to see his face.
I see that in kids too. Like you just take the phone and then they'll be like
yeah.
totally dysregulated.
They go crazy.
Because that's what's regulating them lah, right? Or distraction. So when you remove it straight away, it's like, I'm dysregulated. I don't have the mechanisms to deal with the dysregulation.
Yeah, but you could also be just engrossed in it, and then you suddenly, it's just a shock, right? So maybe we don't know what it is, but I need to practice more with my brother and see the reaction.
In my phone, all the socials are in this group called Painkillers.
Oh, okay.
So it's a reminder to me every time. But sometimes I'm not conscious, but every time I like click into it, it reminds me that these are just painkillers. They are not real.
Actually, that's a good idea. But when I'm in compulsion, I don't care what is it called.
You just click it.
Painkiller or drug. If you call it drug, I still will click it. Give it to me.
And I guess we can be compassionate to ourselves. Sometimes we just need that. Yeah, but it's the overuse of it that is not healthy. Like if doom scrolling is the only way you can manage anxiety.
So I get So I guess it's to know the pattern and then find a way out of it lah. That is the next best thing you can do lah.
Yeah.
I guess if you can't find, there's always a sister or a family who will look at your pattern. So look around. Somebody will know.
But if you live alone, I think that's also the thing, because I was alone, right?
Yeah.
That's when it became like, usually because I'm at home, there's always some sort of like something in the culture that will force you. Like my mom will yell at you or like whatever lah. You can't be in your own world, right? But when you live alone, is when you're like, okay, you got to create your own boundaries, because you can stay in your room for a whole day and doom scroll. Nobody's gonna know. And like if you can't come out of it, then
True.
3 days later you still doom scrolling.
So maybe you should see somebody who look at the online. Are you online?
It needs to come up with AI too. Hello, leave your house now.
You're online for far too long.
Your phone is shutting down in 5.
And then turn off.
Yeah.
Black screen.
They have an automatic
Oh
shutdown.
my god, they should do that.
They have the screen time, right? But as long as you're moving it, you're scrolling means the screen time will unless they have. I don't know, I don't think they
You
have
can
that.
set a limit. So the iPhone has the limit. Then they will come out. Because I set 30 minutes. So it will come out at 30 minutes and say that you've reached your time limit for today.
And what do you do then?
Then you can, if you want to continue, you just say continue or something lah. You just continue and click something. But this is a reminder. Yeah.
So does it work?
If I really want to, like, there's a compulsion, it doesn't work. Because it's so easy, I just click continue or something, right? Then I continue to use. Yeah, but I think at least it tells me that, okay, it's half an hour. Yeah, but I guess it's also whether you set a realistic limit. Half an hour a day, I think is quite short for socials. Yeah, sometimes, because it's cumulative, it's not one sitting half an hour. It's across one day. I set the limit to be half an hour, so I feel like that's a bit too short.
So interesting, because the other time also I was like, doom scrolling. After that I watched Netflix, also Netflixing plus doom scrolling. I'm like, this one I think now it's time. Then when I started putting away my phone, I'm mindfully watching Netflix. Then I had to watch comedy, so that I'm really like into it. Then I'm like, okay, no need to use the phone. So I think you have to be intentional lah, I think.
And it's hard when you're alone, like you say. Nobody to remind you. There might not be many things that you need to do. For example, maybe you are there and you might not have like structured work, right? Because if you have kids or you have like structured work, then I need to go now kind of thing. Yeah.
There's no like, unless you force a schedule in lah, But I also realize actually it's quite interesting when you live alone. So actually even like I mean, we're all from collectivistic culture, right? So I mean, family, all of these things have always been like a huge part. So then I realized actually, I mean, there's the pros and cons lah. Because if your family propagate your doom scrolling, then it's a different thing lah. But it's like you actually have some sort of accountability lah. If you have a, I guess, good relationship with your family.
I find it hard to talk about anxiety with my parents because I don't know whether they are aware of what anxiety is like, and whether I might be, because I am in the field, then I might be able to spot it in them, but they might not be able to spot it in me. So I'm just like thinking, as you're saying, then how do I, like, in the collectivistic culture, which can sometimes make me feel more anxious because there are a lot more expectations, how do I help my parents or my family help me to like check me and regulate? Not regulate. Regulation is my own responsibility, but how do they help me become more aware?
That's also interesting. Because actually in a house, I guess you're also having open conversation lah. Right? Because just like I can have the conversation with her because like maybe she understands and I understand. And even then I might not have it until I'm ready. Right? Unless if I'm going to feel judged or whatever, I wouldn't really. I guess it is harder to speak to parents.
I feel like maybe we cannot just say I'm anxious because they don't understand. But I think if I tell my mom that like, oh, my heart is beating very fast, I need some time to cool down, calm down, because it's concrete, they might be able to just understand. Oh, they might not know anxiety, but they know that you are going through something and you need some space. Or like you say, I cannot breathe. I think there was once I had it's not exactly a panic attack, but it felt like a mini panic attack. Then I tell my mom I cannot breathe. Yeah, then she's like, she got into it. She is anxious, like, but it's not the I'm gonna die kind of thing. But I just felt in the moment I felt very suffocated, and I just need some space. Yeah.
And then she was able to understand.
She was able to understand.
Yeah, I guess maybe the terms we don't know, but like physical sensation, this pain, that pain, touching. You know, I think maybe that can
Touching.
Concretize it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I get anxious. I don't know what to do. Who should I call the hospital?
Is it? I have a heart attack.
no, calm down.
Then you will be very calm.
So you really need to regulate your own first, because if you go into a crazy state, then you cannot act in a way that, not act, but you cannot convey what you're feeling. Yeah, you need to say, yes, I'm having like chest pain or chest tightness, but not the heart attack kind.
You need to be so intentional. But at that point, you can't always be what?
Yeah, I suppose you can't,
Yeah.
I guess you just have to wait for the situation to unfold. Like, I think the time when our dog ran away, it was quite funny. At first, I was so calm. I was like, where is he going to go? 30 minutes I went out. And then I came back, he's not there.
Oh dear, 30 minutes.
This was just like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah. And then I was like, this is time to be anxious. I think I know I have to be anxious about it so that things can go on, you know. And I'm too calm, you know. I was like, he will come back. Then 1 hour later, he's not. Then I see all the anxiety from different people in our family. My mother just started to panic, and then she just started to walk. I said, where are you walking? Where are you going? You don't get lost. You don't go. He said, no, I have to go. I have to fight. I have to at least do something. I said, I already walked that route. There is no point walking that route again. But she said, you want to walk? You go and walk. I said, it's okay. Then I came back. I was like thinking, okay, maybe I should bike around. That might be more efficient. I look at the bike, the tire is punctured.
This is your funny anxious story.
Did it make you more anxious or less anxious when you saw the bike?
I think when I saw the bike, that was the moment.
So what was the sensation in your body?
Yeah.
The sensation, panic is the perception, right? The sensation was like, I guess heartbeat faster, but like I think my thoughts were also racing. No, actually not really. My thoughts wasn't racing, but there was some physical sensation of like, I have to do something. Yeah, I have to do something, and then like I think I'm irritated. I'm very irritated, and then like I feel like, yeah, like things are not moving. Yeah, and I don't really know what to do. But then I was like, there's no point panicking. I should get somebody who will panic on my behalf. So I told my dad.
Was it intentional that you chose him?
Usually I will choose him as last resort.
Oh,
But there's nobody else around. I wasn't there.
Okay.
She exhausted all options.
I called her like 5-6 times. This is useless. Okay, I mean I don't mean she's useless,
She's
but
further away.
she's further away and she was just not contactable. I mean she had something lah, but I was like the only option was to put it in the group chat. There's this one group chat where like our estate people were in, and yeah, so it's like usually if you get lost, they will like somebody in the estate will find him, or like actually they're keeping him so that you know he's safe lah. So I was like, okay, the only person I know who has the group chat is my mother and her. And my mother was panicking. She's like, what group? I was like, okay, this one is, we have to go to her. And then we called 5-6 times. Then after that I was like, okay lah, maybe this is the time that I need to activate my father. I said I think we need to drive and find him. It's like crisis. But even then he was too calm for me. I was like, are you not doing anything? Like I told him once, but the action didn't come until 10 minutes later. So I was like, then I wasn't anxious, but I was like, nothing is going on, nothing is happening. I felt like I need to do something. Yeah. So then after that, eventually like,
You're not in flow.
yes, I was in flow. It was hard to be in flow actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So then we just, okay, let's go into the... Then my mother was still walking around.
She really went
She
outside.
really go walk around. I said, I think I better call.
You better find her first and then I'll find too.
She's still walking around, but I said, never mind. That's not such a difficult problem because she knows how to go back home. So it's not a problem. So I think my dad, I don't know, he just drive. Then suddenly I drove and I was like, this dog looks very familiar. But I in my mind said, there are many Labradors. I'm also not in the right state. But then I walked past, I said, never mind, let's just try. Then when I went there, the guy, like I said, they were like, they took him and then they were
It
like...
was a neighbour who took him in.
Yeah, far away neighbour lah.
Okay.
So they were like, he was like inside the gate and then he was leashed, but they were like, you come in the right time. We were just calling animal rescue because like, yeah, we couldn't keep him because we got other animals also. So we were like, oh, just nice. And I said, wow, thank God. Then yeah lah. So but then I think I realised, right, this thing about anxiety is not about like the when you're experiencing it, it's the after effect and how do you manage it. I think that's the most important, because when we came back already after I found the 2 lost souls my dog and my mother eventually had to call and say, no, the dog, Austin is back, you can come back now. I said, oh, okay. Then it's like the aftermath of it, because she was like saying, no, I really cannot, something is wrong, like my heartbeat just keeps fast, and then you see everybody like, hey, where you go, then they start to like, like scold the poor dog. Then I was like, this dog is just thirsty and and hungry, and he's been standing for so long and he's old also. And then I was like, okay, let's give him water. But all this other scolding and everything, then I realized there's that coping, right? Because they're so like, when we fight or flight, the body reacts, and we need to like remove this stress, which we don't realize, like even if somebody scolds you, whatever, we need to find a way to relax and to remove this stress. Yeah, so I saw my mother just scolding, then after a while she was like, oh, she feels better. Then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how she like regulate lah. Luckily the dog don't understand anything, so it's okay. As long as she don't do anything. My father also do the same thing. Then I was like, okay lah, whatever they do can regulate. Then I sit there, I was like, wow, I need time to just like, I couldn't sleep, so I need time to just like relax and all that. Then I was like, I need to eat something. Then I was like, oh my god,
What does my body want?
I need to eat something. I was like, just eat something. Then I was like, oh, I'm eating chocolate. Then I was like, okay, it must be to remove that stress, right? So I guess it's how you realize and remove it, because if you don't, then tomorrow it's going to be like, how come you suddenly feel so weird? Yeah, so I think that's what I realized about the incident. It's about the after that we need to like,
It's just so interesting when I, like, part of the group coaching that I do, right, one of the things that we talk about is fear. And like, it's not, I guess it depends on how you look at fear and anxiety lah. But one of the biggest thing that you say was fight or flight, right? So your system goes into like parasympathetic nervous system gets activated, which is the fight or flight. So actually your body goes through like 7 different steps instantly. Is your heart rate goes up, your pupils get dilated, your vision. So basically your body is like, I'm gonna die. Because these are the same sensations that it would have done because it thinks that there's a lion, right? So that's why you have the fight or flight. But now it's not a lion, but your body doesn't know that it's not a lion, right? It still thinks that something is happening, and so the body is like super amazing, like just straight away, like pupil dilate, everything. It even makes your body go into starvation, and or even sometimes create a layer of flap around your tummy. I mean, I think that's prolonged fight or flight lah, because it thinks you're going to starvation. So until all of this comes down, like everything will keep activating until it's like okay, until it comes back down to rest and digest. The body will still like have all these sensations. So it's like very interesting. Like one of the things I realize and do also is like, so the first step is like, that it's not, like right now that it's not a lion. So it's just like, I mean, you can't do it at that moment lah, but if it's an internal belief or something, then it's like, okay, I will bring all of this down. The moment you force your body to relax, then you'll be like, okay, it's not a lion. It's like you release all the tension, then it will like, once the heart rate goes down, everything goes down, then you're basically pulling your body back to rest or digest lah. But that is really, you need to be super, like, you must have the space and the practice to kind of do it lah. Yeah.
So it's a good sign I eat lah.
Yeah, maybe your body on starvation lah. It's like,
Starvation so bad.
No, I think anxiety is very energizing. You need energy because you needed to fight or flight. So actually there's a function for the anxiety. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Imagine you were just too calm. Austin might be at the animal rescue, right? So I think we needed the anxiety. But I think what Sarah and you mentioned that like we need to get rid of because your energy goes up in that whole period of anxiety, but it doesn't just go like disappear. You need to bring it down. So either through eating, scolding, nagging, or doing something to let the anxiety go is helpful, because if not, the energy gets stored in the body. So I've seen this, there's this therapy modality called somatic experiencing. Don't know whether you've heard. And they will intentionally in therapy help the person to recall the anxiety or the traumatic episode, bring out the anxiety and get to them to use their body to release the energy. So the energy that's stored in the body gets released and it's not kept in the body, which can be harmful, because when it's kept in the body, that's where you go into very unconscious behaviours.
Doom scrolling.
Yeah. Even the animals, I remember this video that was showed at this training that I went on somatic experiencing. Animals, when they go through like the dangerous situation, like maybe the deers run away from a predator, right? After that they will shake like vigorously. I can't remember. I saw it. I need to find the link for you. Either deers or polar bear. I can't remember. But they would shake the energy off. Yeah.
That's very
Maybe we should all start doing
I mean,
start shaking.
The lady that we like, the one that writes this holistic psychology, she talks about some ways to release. Actually, the shaking is like one of the most important. And so basically, in order to utilize that, because adrenaline and cortisol is high, right? So basically you need to break down the hormones. So you need to run, like all of this movement there's different modalities, but I've seen like you literally just keep shaking and shaking until you
need a Taylor Swift song. Shake it off.
Actually that would be so cool, right? You just dance a song.
Maybe you should put it like 30 minutes, anxiety is over, shake it. Play Taylor Swift.
I would like to do it with kids, because kids cannot express anxiety, but I just like let them shake it off, right? And then they will be more calm.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder whether Austin was anxious.
He must have been.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Did he shake it off?
I think he had no energy to shake anything off.
The interesting thing is that what you say with the kids is that how do we help? Because I think now with like technology, with like iPads and all these things, right? Like they really need to know like ways to regulate. Right? Because then it becomes a subconscious pattern or like.
Yeah, but the problem is they're too young. And like the problem is also TV is too stimulating. If you were young and if it's that stimulating, it's like imagine giving like 100 times of sugar into your body and I tell the kid, can you consciously? I mean, it's going to be very difficult, So it's like, it's also a tough thing, like how do we, like, because it's not that it's unnecessary, they also need this technology. Technology is not a bad thing. But like for kids, it's like, how do we, create that consciousness for them? And I think it comes from really like how we are because what they see is what they do, right? It's also role modeling, right? So like, I mean, if you are doing doom scrolling, I mean, what's wrong with them doing doom scrolling? And then when you see it, you are like, hey, you are doom scrolling, stop it. But you are here scrolling, you know what I mean? So I think role modeling is one, but also like we need to give them other things that they can do where they also enjoy, which doesn't involve technology because the problem with it is that you go to technology, you disconnect with yourself. That's the problem. Technology is not a problem. It's a disconnection. So it's like, I think for kids it's a tricky thing because they're not aware and they're also easily like susceptible to this stimulation. So it's really a very mindful, conscious effort, but as adults also we have to set like good role models
Actually, if you think about it, using the phone doesn't help us get rid of the energy. It's a distraction.
Stores, right?
It stores energy. It's just like, okay, now my mind is on something else, the energy just gets stored somewhere else. And I think that doesn't help with the problem. And I don't think that the content that we consume helps. Maybe adds on to the energy. I don't know. That maybe you see something and then you get even more anxious.
Then your mind analyze. Actually, I think a lot of the escape lah, right? Like not dealing with the procrastination lah. I don't really want to deal with the anxiety, or I don't know how. Or like, yeah.
I mean, olden days, how did they deal with it? They had no technology. They just had to sit with it, you know. They just had to sit and not do anything and be
But
okay.
they yell at people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they yell
Yeah,
at
people.
Oh yeah, they yell at people.
Yeah.
One of my ex-bosses, it's yelling.
Yeah.
Yelling is like also a different mode of release of the
Release,
thing, right?
that's
Like
true.
yelling at other people. I think different ways lah. Maybe the regulation ways have
True.
modified or modernized.
Now it's like
Yeah.
quiet.
And yelling is a way to get control, because anxiety is when you lose control. You don't feel that you're in control. So when you yell, you think that you are getting some control because people would be scared of you. But yeah, it might not work in this day lah. I think maybe in the past people are
Yeah.
very obedient and compliant, but now you yell, people will don't care about you,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Let me report you to HR.
Alright.
Wow, it's so hard. You see, you cannot.
Yeah.
You need to get rid of the energy. You need control, but yet you cannot keep doing things that are unhelpful. Yeah.
Well, basically, have to break the cycle lah. I guess awareness is like very important to
Yeah.
be able to like. At some point, I think break the cycle lah. To be like, this is not really feeding me. But I guess it's at some point, when do you want to? I think it's not so easy to identify sometimes the cycle. If it's very long, maybe something that you do for maybe so many years in your life, and you just don't know another way of handling it. Yeah.
Is anxiety a common, your most common emotion that you feel?
See, I don't know.
You are too present.
You see, it's not that I'm present. It's that I don't know. I don't know. That's even worse. Oh man.
She's a state of peace.
And come on, anxiety. When are you coming?
You need that.
I
You
need
need
it
to
now.
get your anxiety out. Like you need it. You need it
She
to
got too
work.
much
right?
peace and happiness and calmness. So what's anxiety?
Maybe that's why actually it's anxiety.
Mask.
Mask. Making me slow. Yeah, I think awareness lah, but I think it's, I don't know, for me it's like, I know there's some physical sensation, I know something is wrong. I wouldn't know it's fear, it's whatever, but there's a physical sensation that's different from a relaxation state. So I think if I recognize that, and like, I think if also you recognize that it is over, like perhaps you're like doing your normal stuff a little bit more, like you're eating, like what you said, and things like that, and then you realize, but I think it's even if you don't like think that you need relaxation, do something to relax. Like not watching TV because that is stimulating, but something to like what Marlene was saying, like release some energy. So even if you don't like it, like play something and like dance.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to play sad music and dance, whatever, as long as you're moving, you know. Or like, if you really want to, if you feel like going for a run, go for a run. You know, do something that at least moves and gets some energy out of you lah. Even if you don't feel like you need it, maybe there might be something. Yeah.
I like what you say. I think it's like structuring time to let go of it. So like for example, maybe you do your sadhana or your yoga practice every morning. So every morning, regardless of how much anxiety you feel or you don't feel, you get a reset. Yeah. I guess it will be not too late, but it's very reactive if you, I feel anxious now, and then I do. But sometimes we are anxious and we're not aware. But if it's a practice that you do every morning, even if you're not aware of anxiety, you still get a chance to let it go. Yeah. Maybe, that's a good idea. We all need some practices in the morning to let go of it. Yeah, or at the end of the day.
Or sometimes even if you don't want to do a practice, you can do it with somebody like in the morning, you know, just have like coffee and talk to somebody like intentionally, right? About like, hey, how are you feeling? Or you ask somebody, because I don't think it's a cultural thing, like, hey, how are you feeling? Even if they say, oh, okay, and if you really don't feel okay, and then maybe you share with them and see how that goes. I know it's a bit try it. And every morning, if you're not the kind who wants to sit alone, you don't like to be alone, you can always talk to somebody. Do what you need to like just feel something inside your body. And then
as opposed to allowing to spiral lah and just like get stuck lah.
Because the thing is, you don't know, you see. If you're unconscious, you don't know, so we take it that it will happen whether you like it or not. It will happen, so then just do it lah. And then maybe one day you I think at the end of it, when you keep being aware, something will happen and you will realize something is different. So maybe you can try that.
Structuring some time to I think like for me, because I have a practice every morning, right? But when my anxiety was at peak, like this was not working, like the body was so like whatever, right? So then I'll be like, okay, I need to go for a run lah. Right? Because it's more energetic. I couldn't sit still. So okay, go for a run. Okay, go to the beach. Okay, swim. Like be with something where I can actually like not have to be quiet lah. So then I was okay, this is interesting that this modality that always works is actually not really working. Then I'm like, okay, I try structure something. I also did the dancing one. So very interesting lah. Like how I think at the end of the day, it's like there's no one kind of method lah, right? That fits everyone.
Finding out what works. You need to know your own patterns. And you knew, right? You said, my practice didn't work anymore. I need to go for a run. Or maybe we don't know. We just go and try. I don't know whether running will work. Then we just go and try and see whether it works. Or jumping around.
Is that what you do?
I haven't jumped around. Sometimes I dance around. Jump around feels like the zombies.
During these times, what do you tell your parents?
Close the door and jump.
So what modalities do you use? You use like running or?
I think yoga, breathing helps a lot. I think from the time I started my psychology training, right, then I started to be more aware of my breathing. So I often would put my hand on my belly so that I'm conscious of my breathing, and then I'll breathe. Then I think that helps me to check in, like it's a physical thing to say, okay, am I alright? And then like, how's my breathing like? And I'm just gonna slow down the breathing. So I use that. Aside from, because sometimes it's not so, like if I'm in the middle of a work meeting, I cannot like just go and run. Bye.
Let me do alternate breathing now.
But if I just put my hand on my tummy, I can do it. Or even if I don't put, I can just be conscious of my breathing. So I guess we need different strategies at different times. I remember once I tried, I don't know whether y'all have heard of power poses. I tried it before an interview. I went to the toilet. I mean I got the job.
So it worked.
I don't know how much it helped my anxiety, but I did feel a bit more calm, I guess. I didn't think it would work initially when I read about it, but I thought no harm trying, we'll just try. So different things work for different people.
I think it's like just the ability to be curious lah, right? Like what can I try? But I think it's not so easy when you're really in it lah. If it's like your first time, like if you told me this, like I don't know, the first time I had anxiety, which was 10 years ago. Okay, more than 10 years now. But like I would not be able to do anything because I was completely like unaware. I was like completely dysregulated. Zero awareness, zero anything, and I think mental health wasn't really a huge thing also, like 10 years ago. So at that time, you asked me, you're curious, I was like, no. Like I would still not be open to it yet. And then slowly, then I'm like, okay.
I guess you have to be comfortable and like not resist it. I think like the problems happen when you resist it and not like accept it, right? So like I guess naming this
Noticing it,
naming it, you know, whatever that helps you to like, hey, this person is coming again, you know. I mean, just accept it, I guess. But I mean, obviously that is like a process to get there also. So start with relaxation.
No, I like this question that we learned in, I don't really remember, EFT. They always ask, what do your feelings need? So I will also ask myself, like, what does my anxiety need?
Doom scrolling.
No. Usually anxiety, you need some assurance lah, be it through doom scrolling or someone telling you, or you need some safety. So maybe the doom scrolling is the safety. And if that's your intention, then okay lah. I feel more safe in my phone than outside.
That could be true, right? You seek some sort of safety. I mean, because if there's uncertainty, then that's what you're seeking for, right?
In some way the phone allows you to, it's a familiar object, and you know that, okay, there's nothing that can happen that can hurt me, compared to like the real world where people's words can have an effect on me. Maybe it's a barrier.
Actually that's true, because I remember that it's just strange things that I do sometimes. Everybody's on their phone, right? So this person not on the phone, so obviously I just walk and I look at this person, right? So I think after I look for a while, he took out his phone.
He wanted that barrier.
He was like, oh, this girl. I mean, I had no intention. I just wanted to, like, because he was walking, and then I was like, I didn't want to use my phone. I usually don't use my phone because it's just distracting. I like to do this kind of thing. So then after he just used it, I was like, this guy. No intention here, but he was feeling uncomfortable. But the first thing he did was like, oh, look at the phone, and then suddenly you get text. But I think a lot of people use that, like even youth actually, like the first thing they do is like, oh, they like awkward situation. Why do I use my phone? It's like a cause of comfort, ma. Everything also you help me, what, right? But last time people had to like deal with awkward situations, right? They just have to sit with the anxiety, but you know, the youth don't have to sit with it, or we don't have to sit with it. Like even you go to a crowded place, you don't like this person, or like, you know, you go to that life stories, right? Or we go for that event, and let's say you come alone and you like, you know, you don't know how to start this awkward conversation. Instead of trying, you can just pick up your phone and like, oh, I'm busy, you know, but you're actually scrolling, or you're just like, sometimes not even doing anything, just like pressing. Because obviously for that same incident, right, after I walked past, I saw him put his phone back. I was like, hello. So it's like, I mean, it's not that it's anything, but it's just that it really shows like how much like people, like their coping strategy is their phone, but it's not exactly like, I think it becomes so unconscious that they forget to like go into the real situation and like not say force themselves, but actually have the patience to sit through it. And that's the problem. It's the patience to sit through all these emotions. I think that would be the biggest thing lah. Not a lot of people have that patience to sit through it. Because if you're anxious and all that, it's like, just do something lah. But if you have to sit with the anxiety, that is very hard. That is actually very hard, and people choose not to do it.
But it's so interesting. I just saw like two things came to my mind. It's like this guy was saying like, actually our mind is always constantly cluttered. So actually when we're even standing in a queue, right, like that is actually your moment to declutter your mind. But the first thing you do is to clutter it again, and like there's no communication, there's nothing. So actually you have no space to declutter anything. There's no space to think, there's no silence ever. So eventually, like how can you ever deal with it, right? And then you, like you said lah, I mean the way to release, one of the easiest ways is to sit, right? You have to sit with it and let it pass. And there's this video I saw, like this grief expert was talking about it lah. He said that like buffaloes, when there's a storm, they are the ones that run towards the storm, because they know that if you're in the storm will kind of pass by quicker, as opposed to if you run away, then your journey away from the storm is longer lah, right? And actually it's true. So eventually, even with my whole anxiety thing, like I mean like I regulated like try my best and whatever, but it was still like I had to sit with it. Like finally when I was ready, I was like, okay, time to sit with it lah, right? And then, but for me, I did it with somebody else. So then I was able to like, okay, now I can face it. I need to sit with it lah. And then the moment I sat with it, I was like, okay, understand already, thank you. And like I could like give her the voice that she wanted lah. So I think it's really like you need to sit. And it's like when we kind of run away from like sitting or feeling it, then it will like forever be stored in our bodies lah, right?
I think the reminders also need to be patient. Doesn't mean that like you sit once and you'll go away. Sometimes like I just want the problem to be solved, but it doesn't go away even after you sit with it.
Yeah.
It takes time and it will only go away 2-3 months later. Yeah, but if you never sit with it, you will never start the process of being able to regulate. Yeah, so I think I will remind myself to be patient also. I think with all feelings you need to be patient to let it pass.
And accept that you might be there forever with you. You think that you'll pass, but no, it come again and then it come
will.
again. So it's just, I guess it's just to accept it and then like, just what to do. It's part of you now.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just like another part of you.
It's human to be anxious.
Yeah, it's like happiness, right? When we're happy, you don't question it. Right or not? When we're like, oh, we reach our goal, we don't question it, right? We're happy to enjoy the...
Why do you love me? Why?
Why do I feel this happiness? We want to sit with it even more, right? Actually. But then with like, that's the harder things. Like, so Susan David, which is like, she's a psychologist. She talks a lot about like emotions and stuff like that. But she was also like we can't label emotions good or bad lah. Right? Just because they feel a bit more painful, doesn't mean that we need to, I guess, run away from the storm lah.
So don't discriminate feelings,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, good and bad feelings. Oh, I recently, so Tuesday I went for a meditation class at a Buddhist place, and I remembered the trainer read an excerpt from the book. It says that pleasure gives you happiness, but not having pleasure also gives you happiness. Okay, I might be butchering it, but the idea is that whether you are happy or not, you will still be affected by it. So when you're happy, don't be too happy. When you're not getting what you want, don't be too concerned. Because if you're too happy, and you will be attached to the happiness. But if you keep getting upset about not getting it, you will also be attached to that feeling. So he mentioned that you want to have equanimity lah, just like balance. Don't need to be too happy, don't need to be too sad. So I guess the anxiety is like also tell yourself, I'm anxious, but don't need to be overly concerned about the outcome. But also it's not good to not be concerned. I don't know.
Okay, it makes sense. Like, it's like, it's there for like a function, and like, okay, you will pass, so you don't have to be like attached to it. It will go, whether you're happy or not happy, it will go away after a while. Right.
Even if it's a happy feeling, it will be gone after a while, right?
But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy and experience
we just enjoy it in the moment.
So anxiety also just enjoy and experience it. Just sit and experience it, right?
Let's just
right on the energy.
Go for a run. Suddenly I think you need the anxiety to like win go before a race. Make me anxious.
That's true. We need it.
But I think the big thing for me as somebody who has an anxiety friend, like, you know, is that the thing I realize, especially when I give it, or I push her away or something like that, right, is like she will force her way in to affect the present moment. Then it's like, okay, 1 week later it's like, what have I done this week? And it's like you really cannot remember what you've done, and it like robs you of your time. I think that's the biggest thing I realized, and I realized that if I just let her be, then I can at least still be present and enjoy. Because it's, I mean, if you go for a run, you still enjoy, right? And at the end of the day, you actually have these feelings, and you get like endorphin and all of these things, and you actually feel, you do your yoga, you can feel like, you know, and it's like just push yourself a little bit and just be like, okay, I understand you're here, and then I just do it. Then I'm like, actually, like in this moment, even though I'm anxious, like this feels nice. You know what I mean? You can like let two emotions also kind of be present lah. Right? That's when I think I realized that, like, even like for me lah, like it's really also like what you say, like you have to be present, right? If not, it's like you really get robbed of your time and like your opportunity to enjoy whatever time you have lah. I mean, who knows, right? Like if I'm spending time, like say for example at home for like 4 days and I'm anxious, then it's like I lost the 4 days, and then I leave, and then I realize, okay, the 4 days has gone, and I might not get the, you know, So I think that element was quite a push factor for me to like, okay, you need to like listen to her lah.
Yeah, don't waste time, right?
Mm.
Don't waste time.
Yeah. It's like a bit like focusing on the bigger picture also lah. Because sometimes I think like you can like really just focus on like anxiety. And then you just have to like come up to the bigger picture and realize, okay, that's
I guess it reminds me of such a strange thing, but you know, like how like people cheat lah in relationships lah. I mean, I just read this somewhere before. It's like, you know, when it's like in secret, right? When nobody knows about it and you think, oh, it's wrong, and you know, then it becomes exciting, you know, and then they're like, oh, let me, you know, I want to have this secret thing. But once everybody knows about it, right, it's like, for them the excitement is gone, you know, and then like they no longer want to have it anymore. So it's the same as like anxiety, right? Like until like you like, oh, it's secret, you know, I cannot do anything about it. Then you like, oh, okay. But then once the whole world you know about it, everything, then it becomes like there's no control, there's no power already. So you already know it's coming. You know, okay, fine, you have to sit with it. You know, there's no resistance, you know, because you already know. So I think like, I think about it like I don't know why it came up in my mind but it's like, oh, yeah, it's like that So it's like, what's the difference between if you're cheating and it's so exciting, then how come once everybody knows about it, now you don't want to be with this person? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? So it's just that feeling, right? And then it's gone. So I was like, oh, okay, then isn't it the same thing if you want to deal with anything in your life, right? Yeah, make it known to everybody. Yeah.
I think anxiety and excitement can be very similar in terms of the physiology. So I've heard where you can reframe your anxiety as excitement. Maybe I'm very anxious about this new project, but hey, it's exciting. My body is preparing me for the excitement. So maybe, I mean, it's a bit different from an example, but I guess it's the same logic. People are excited because it's a secret.
Yeah.
But then like as the secret gets out in the open, then no more excitement, the anxiety, the heart rate also drops. Yeah,
so it's quite interesting. It's like, then they still choose their wife. I mean, like, you know, they still choose, no, I still want you, I still love you. Then I don't get this. But no wife, then I rather not have both. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just very it's like it for me was like when I first heard of this concept, I was just very intrigued by it. But then that was like, oh, okay, it's very interesting.
It's like basically if you put it in the dark, right? It's like you just put it a little bit in the light, just let it be heard, let it be seen, like ask what is it lah, kind of make friends with it lah. And then I think remember I was telling somebody this, I can't remember, but it was just basically you need to shine light to it lah. It's not this bad hidden thing or demon or like no, all these things, right? You got your demons, you got this. I'm like, no, it's just part of you. Like, don't fantasize it or like toxic, you know, narcissist, all this rubbish.
We just need to give a name, so everyone gives different names to it.
Whatever, it's like just let it come, like let it like be in the light as well, you know, and then you realize that actually maybe you want something, right? Yeah, and it's just like it just needs a friend lah. Maybe it just wants to be heard or like seen or acknowledged for what it is lah. And it's like you don't look at the phone and just listen to it, then it's like, okay, I got it. Like so I guess how you will talk to a friend lah, right? My God, this reminds me of the Singapore advertisement.
What Singapore advertisement?
Where a guy is like using his phone and then his friend talks and he says something about his job. Then he like kind of dismisses him lah. And he's like, I just talked to him lah. What's so hard? Something like that. Then he will be like, he thinks so easy Like, you haven't seen the advertisement?
Is it recent?
Yeah, before I left, maybe.
I mean, I haven't been watching TV shows.
Then they'll be a listening ear, something like that lah. That is the whole message.
Oh, that's the message.
Yeah.
Okay, so be present. Listen
like,
to your friend.
If somebody's talking, So basically, don't be that guy lah. Be a listening ear lah. How you would be to your friend lah. So be that to your emotion and whatever emotion is coming out lah.
Don't be mean.
Don't be mean lah. Don't be the bully. Right, to the emotion.
So if I were to ask you, like, can you use a analogy or like a picture to describe anxiety, to not concretize it, but to give it a picture, because we cannot express it in words, right? Anxiety doesn't tell us much. But is there a picture to it? Like maybe anxiety is like a monkey in your mind. Yeah, I thought it would be nice to hear everyone's picture.
I already had this
oh my
picture.
god, you already have this
about
picture?
it.
Okay, you go first. I need to think. You have a picture?
No.
Okay.
Mama, I wrote this on a post like I think last
Wow.
month because I was going through it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what is this? Because I think sometimes you can't really, if you don't have the words, like it might not be anxiety, it might be fear. I don't know what it is. So like a way is to like visualize what I'm feeling, and then don't have to name it lah. So it could be an object or whatever. So for me, it was a German Shepherd.
Like a dog that
Like
is running.
Yeah, so it's basically like my anxiety, and I also sometimes it comes as fear. So basically it's like a German Shepherd lah. It wants to protect me all the time. Right? So that's why it's always like barking, like uncertainty, like a stranger is coming, right? Okay, I'm gonna bark. And so it's like it like activates everything because it's like it wants to protect me lah, save me, right? And so every time it's barking, instead of like just telling it like it's okay, like this person, I know this person, or like even if it's somebody's like they just passed or whatever, I just like let it bark. And I don't tell it to calm down lah. Then as opposed to training the dog, the dog is the alpha lah, obviously. So like yeah lah, so I just teach her to that it's okay lah. Like, yeah, it's like, but there's nothing to be protective lah. Thank you for like trying to protect me. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's quite nice lah, cause like if it's a dog also, I then felt like I like dogs, right? And I will be friends with the dog. So then I can talk to her lah. And then it's like okay. So that was mine.
Oh, nice.
Do you know
I have a picture now as Lush is
Okay.
talking. I picture myself like it's on the road and then it's like a roundabout. Then when I'm anxious, I'll be like the car that's just going round and round. But actually, there are exits. If I slow down and don't just go round and round, I slow down, I'll be able to exit. But sometimes if you're not mindful, then you just keep going round and round and round until you realize that you're going round many times, then you exit. So I think it's a reminder that hey, I have a choice of what I need to do when I'm anxious. I don't need to go round and round. Yeah, so mine is like a roundabout.
The function of a roundabout is to go around.
To exit eventually.
So also a bit of reminder maybe like to slow down lah. Only when you slow down you can kind of like find the exit lah.
And that I have choices. I'm not just stuck. I think sometimes anxiety can feel like I'm stuck in this anxiety. I can't get out of it. It's controlling me. But actually I have control over my anxiety. Yeah,
that's true. You're the driver, right?
Yeah, I'm the driver.
I forget that sometimes. I drive the bus.
Yeah, I think the emotions controlling me.
Like suddenly I just take my phone, I just scroll.
So I can't control it.
Oh my god, while you're driving, can you
Stop it! Then traffic police stop me. I don't know, it wasn't my fault. I think for me, I don't know why, it actually is something exciting. It's like for me, you know the playground, you have this thing where you can like I don't know whether you're young, they used to have in those playgrounds where basically you can like use your feet to like drag, and then after a while you stop and then you just go round. Yeah. So I think I imagine the like anxiety is like that. It just go round, and then after that like you cannot stop it.
Oh, that's true. It rides on momentum.
Exactly, and then you're like, I cannot stop. Then you look at people, shit, somebody has to stop it. But you put your leg down, and like you
can't, you sprain your leg.
Yeah, you sprain your leg. So you have to find that sweet spot. Like you have to just, but you have to make it stop.
Or you just wait until it slows down. Eventually it would slow down.
Eventually, there's no other people on that damn merry-go-round. Yes, in my but if those people are exciting and you have no choice, so sometimes you just go and try to find the best place where you be the less giddy. Or like you go to the center, or you just wait, or the other thing, stop! You can say, you can ask people to stop.
Yeah.
So, but I guess it's like, you will still have to, no choice but to feel it. And then even when you come down, even when you stop, we don't know when we'll stop. There's no idea when.
Right?
Yeah, and then eventually you stop and you like get the patience to like, okay, I put my feet down. And then even then you're giddy. And then you just have to wait. There's no other thing. You have to wait through and figure and get the giddy out. There's no other way. You have to just wait it. And I think that's, for me, it's like how it is like with anxiety. Yeah.
interesting. Well, different pictures.
Yeah, that's
but
so
we all have
interesting,
some picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's such a good way to like put everything together if you're feeling anxious, right? Like, what's the picture that I'm feeling now? What's the picture? Like, because then at least you can concretize it a bit, right? And then it's no longer in the dark lah, right? Then you like just shine some light, give it something, give it some picture, then it becomes a bit easier to.
Yeah. You want to say any concluding words?
I don't know. Do y'all want to say any concluding words?
No, I said.
Just step on, don't step on.
Don't go into
Is
the
that why they
background.
remove it from most playgrounds?
Too dangerous. Is it?
No, I think I need a real German Shepherd. But I bet I'll be so controlling.
Then the other picture I was thinking was Jack Russell. Yeah, you know, they're like yeah.
So no concluding words lah.
No, that's the conclusion. I don't know.
I felt like we talked a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can conclude.
I think it was very interesting to see, I guess, a topic that can be quite difficult to handle, but I think it's also like to know that like there is no one solution lah. You know, there are a lot of different methods for different people, and like it's just to try to remain curious and to like kind of see the bigger picture lah. Like you said, it's the flow, it's balance, you know, trying to not like lean into too much happiness or putting any judgments onto what we are feeling lah. And just to, I think the most important is to sit with it lah, you know, and like just let it kind of flow through us lah. If not, I think it becomes a bit stagnant. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's not to worry too much and like seek help and like understand yourself and find community. I think that's also important. Like having these kind of conversations, I think is helpful because then like you share, then you like have the, I guess, capacity to talk about it and you know, view things from a different perspective. So thank you for being on the
Thank you for
on the
having
podcast.
us.